If you're an entrepreneur, you already know you're different from the rest of the world. All you have to do is hang out with somebody from the crowd, and you know that they strive for average and cling desperately to the status quo. They want nothing to change. While people like you and I get up every day asking how do we do more, be more, make this world a better place. That increases pressure and noise in the world for people like us. We are constantly swimming upstream and trying to make things happen. So if you are dedicated to changing the world, if you know that what you're doing is more important than anything else, it's time for you to start lowering the pressure and noise in your life as fast as you can. It took me forever to figure this out. When I was younger, I was a consultant to some of the most successful people in the world. I worked with people that were worth 100 million and some that were even worth $1 billion or more. I was up close and personal with people who moved the world around like puzzle pieces. They were called eccentric and different and even weird. But the reality is, the things that they did in their lives, the way that they drove out the noise is why they were successful. I can remember in my 20s, I had a friend in New York. He was building a company in New York. I was building one in Florida, and we would get together every once in a while. One of our first trips where I went to New York, I remember I went to his apartment and he had an assistant. His clothes were delivered by a cleaning service. He had somebody cooking his food. And I flew back to Florida thinking, how high maintenance, how eccentric. Why does he need all that noise around him? Why is he getting so much help? And I proudly went back and did everything myself. The next trip that I went to visit him in New York, things had gotten even more interesting. Now there were several assistants, an office. We actually were driven from one place to another by a driver. He did hardly anything that day. And I remember thinking again, how eccentric, how crazy. He's spending so much money on all of this help. Yet I didn't really realize his business was exploding and mine was growing at a snail's pace. Then my next trip up to New York, things got crazy. Years later, I remember I flew to New York to be able to fly back to Florida with him on his jet. I landed in New York. I was driven by a driver to his office. I went up. There was so many people around him at this point. He was constantly signing papers, answering questions, walking through the hallways. People were checking in with him and getting things done. We went to the top of his building and took a helicopter to his private plane and flew back to Florida. And I think it was on that flight where I had the distinct realization that while I had been trying to do everything myself, to hustle, to work hard, to make things happen, and guarding every penny I had without getting help, he had been assembling a team and creating all the protection and support in the world that he needed so he could go out and make a massive difference. As entrepreneurs, the sooner we learn that when we lower pressure and noise, when we get the help we need, everything changes. And for you, this can be simple. Today, there is more help available for people like us than there ever has been before. From getting your groceries delivered, to having people do your errands for you, to getting rid of the day-to-day pressure and noise you feel will change everything. But I want you to know something. When you start, you're gonna experience what I did. The guilt of asking for help, the frustration of not feeling like you can do it all yourself, the feelings of inadequacy that you're not making it all happen. But if you trust that if you get help, things will get better, here's what will happen. When you offload the groceries, stop doing the errands, get help with your day-to-day, you will start making the creations that you've always known should be there. You will start having the outcomes in the world appear that you always known would, and you will answer that determined and maybe even somewhat crazy voice in your head that has always told you you are meant for more, you are meant to do more, to be more, to make a bigger outcome and to leave more behind. When you finally get the help you need, that will happen. So along the way, allow yourself to ask for protection and support, and you will see your entire world shift. Because when we experience too much pressure and noise, we can't move forward. If you're ready, make a shift today. Start getting the help you need and you will see everything change. If you're ready to start lowering the noise in your life and creating the outcomes you've always known you could, go to billionairecode.com, answer just a few questions, and we will tell you exactly where you are on the path to entrepreneurial success. And even more importantly, exactly the help you need right now to make more progress than you ever have before. Do me a favor, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and put a comment below that lets me know you're gonna get the help you need.